I've been talking about making this video for a while, and it took me a little bit of time to get to it, but here is the gist of it. I did not release my newest EP to streaming platforms, and this is why. In my first drafts of this, there was a lot of me talking about just kind of the issues that I have in general with streaming platforms, whether it be, payment that goes to artists and how hard it is to get featured and playlisted, and kind of this, massive rush that you just have at the beginning of a release to get displayed to people before it becomes very difficult for you to meet anybody that isn't already a fan. But I decided I didn't want that to be the focus of this video, because really the reason that I didn't release this new EP to streaming platforms has nothing to do with profit and playlists. It has to do with people. And it's for that very same reason that you might think that for an artist of my size, not releasing to streaming platforms is a really bad idea.
I got a bad feeling about this.
And truthfully, it could be. But the thing is, I don't have a big enough following right now to get the momentum that I need to stand out on a streaming platform. And let's be honest, there is some bias that happens on these platforms. Take, for instance, Spotify. When you go to an artist's Spotify page, one of the very first things that you see is what is their monthly listener count. This number immediately gives you a bias towards the music. You can think, well, if there's a very high count of monthly listeners, a high count of streams on certain songs, then maybe that means that the songs are good, versus a low monthly listener or a low amount of streams, then you might immediately think that these songs are bad. Or depending on who you are, you might think, well, that low number means that I'm getting to discover them. And that is something that you can have as a benefit. But a lot of those lower monthly listeners, lower stream counts means that most of people who aren't already in our direct fan and listener base are just never going to find those songs anyway.
I was going to listen to that, but then I just carried on living my life.
See, not releasing on streaming opened up an opportunity for me to focus directly on the people that I already interact with. That subject group includes people that I meet at live shows, it includes friends, it includes fans that I communicate with, and peers who are musicians as well. And as has happened to be one of my biggest groups that I'm able to reach out to, those of you who watch these videos on YouTube. And especially in the case of this project, which I documented the entire process here on YouTube, that felt like one of the spaces that I could actually reach and connect with my fans. This is not as a plug to try to get you to subscribe, but this is the same reason that I use Patreon. With Patreon, I can actually use a timeline-based format to communicate what I'm doing, to show off music and videos and demos to the people who are engaging with what I'm creating, rather than having to kind of fight through the flood of information and content that you get on Instagram and TikTok and even Shorts on this platform. Which, now, to give a genuine plug, is why I've put so much work into making a high quality free tier on Patreon, because it gives me an opportunity to actually connect with fans, with people who like the music and want to know what's happening with it. So I've given a chunk of reasons why I didn't release to streaming, but I want to give some reasons why I did choose to release this project anyway, and to do so in the format that I did, which was connected to physical media only. This does not mean that you have to have a CD player or a cassette player or a turntable in order to listen to it. There is still a digital version of this album that comes connected with all of these things, but the biggest point for me was that I wanted to create something that was tangible. I wanted you, my listener, my audience, to get to actually experience something that you can hold in your hands, that you would touch something that the artist has touched, that you would see something that I have put more effort in than just submitting the MP3, but rather something that you can look at while you engage with listening to the material. Especially with the weird nature of this project, having created it with under $1,000 worth of equipment, and in truth had never planned on releasing it until I was done, I thought that this was a really exciting way to engage with the people who had supported me throughout the entirety of this process. See, one of my absolute favorite things is to hold a vinyl record in my hand, to look at the artwork, to see the little booklet or the pictures that an artist has included in the work that they've done into the visual side while I'm listening to it. It encourages me to sit down and enjoy the music, not just have it be something that is passive, that is noise in the background. Now, I do recognize that noise in the background is a huge selling point within the streaming culture and within releasing music, and that I have removed myself from that space because you have to go through an effort to download this and put it on your phone, or because maybe you have this in just the physical media format. It is less likely that, this is going to be something that's just happening while you're driving to work every day, unless you've gone through the effort to make that possible. But for this project, what I decided was most important was to engage with the people who are really invested in what I'm doing with Ragged Oak. For me, it was a mindset of it being more important that I had 50 fans who were really excited and invested in the art than having 1,000 people who are only kind of invested, or who might only play the song or hear the song once on some playlist that they stumbled onto, or because it ended up on their Spotify radio. I think for many of us who are involved in the independent music world, whether it means that we are attending concerts and shows, or even that we are techs or sound, or just are friends with people in this industry, one of the things that we really love is the relational aspect that connects to the music. Instead of being in an arena where the artist is so far away, we can actually connect with the people who are making this music that speaks to us. My favorite space to encounter people who love my music is within the live concert settings. I love being able to put on these incredibly intentional concerts for the people who listen to the art that I'm making. I love the chance to talk to someone about how a song has impacted them after the show, or even those little points where you're kind of engaging with your audience, whether it be a heckle or a joke that's yelled from the audience, just because you can actually hear that from the space that you're performing in. And I think that releasing the music in this form opened up more opportunity for that kind of interaction and that kind of intentional connection with the artist. Lastly, this kind of let me create a different narrative for this project. One of the most important things for me in doing a release in this format was that we put out a really killer music video. I wanted there to be a really high quality visual and audible way to ingest this that would lead you to potentially go and get a print or a cassette and a digital download of this whole album. And we did that with the music video for Synesthesis. I was able to work with a couple of really talented videographers in order to capture this, and we put a ton of work into making this really, really exciting and interesting and cool music video that seems to be doing quite well compared to a lot of the other videos that I've put up. And I think that doing this has opened the gateway where people are able to question more and then actually go in and engage with more of what Ragged Oak has been doing afterwards. Rather than just go to Spotify and you add the song on your streaming, you might head to the website. You might see more of the story of this project. You get to actually participate in the journey. And while I am losing the opportunity to create a more subtle or soft participant, I'm gaining legitimate converted fans, and that's really exciting for me as an artist. So the real question is, a few months later, is this working? The truth is, I don't know.
What do we learn, Palmer?
I don't know, sir.
I don't fucking know either.
I don't know if this is a good format in the current music climate. But I'm glad that I've gone out and that I'm trying it, and I'm also gonna stick to it. I'm not going to break and release this EP to streaming services, because what has been so exciting about it is kind of this small community that is based around this project. The people who loved the making of Process have gotten to check out and have some ownership of this music. Those fans who have been loyal over the last few years and such amazing supporters of this music have something that is tangible, something that they have ownership of. They get to feel like they are genuinely part of this community. And it's exciting for me because I feel like I have this point of connection and I actually can know where the people are that I can give a lot of investment to thank them for what they have given in their time, in their words, and in their support of Ragged Oak. So maybe you agree with this, maybe you don't. I would love to hear your opinions on this approach to a music release. And if you think that this is just the worst idea ever, go ahead and tell me that this is the worst idea ever. But if you think that this is something that you can improve on or that might work within the music release space, or if this has inspired you to maybe find a new and innovative way to connect with your audience, I would love to hear about that too, because I think that especially for us smaller artists, it's important that we learn how to and share how to connect with the people that support us. Anyway, this is just a short little video on why I chose to do the release in this way, as I did say a few months ago that I would do one about it. I hope that if you haven't, that you will go check out the new EP, Less Than One. You can check it out on raggedoak.com, where you can get it in all of the forms that I just mentioned. And I hope that you'll check out the video for Synesthesis, which is something that I am really, really proud of. I'm excited for some new music that I'm working on, and I've got some great new videos that are in process as well. And I just want to thank you so much for watching and supporting Ragged Oak.